Hey, welcome to the Razzle Dazzle Show, a podcast where we make connections through the lens of video games and all things pop culture. I'm your host, Jared, and this month marks 1 year since the announcement of Shade Protocol, and we're celebrating by talking to other members of the dev team. And today's guest is Illia Bielikov. Illia is a lead developer on Shade Protocol and co-founder of the indie studio Sparrow Bomb, bringing over a decade of experience in game development across programming, UX, and design. A self-taught creator who started by making Flash games on a PSP browser, Illia's journey includes years of experimentation and a pivotal 5-year project that ultimately failed but reshaped his approach to building games. He later found his stride with Godot, embracing a philosophy that games should feel like a cohesive, intentional experience rather than disconnected mechanics. Outside of development, he's a fan of pro wrestling, retro games, and heavy music, and strongly believes that success comes not from talent, but from dedication, discipline, and persistence. Please let us know what you think about this episode somewhere on the internet, and be sure to follow us on our socials and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Links to them are down below. And with all that being said,
it's Razzle Dazzle time.
Hello, Illia. Thank you so much for coming on the show. How are you today?
Hello, Jared. I'm great. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. If I sound like a little weird, that's because I have like a really rough, scratchy throat, but I'm still gonna power through it. But I don't give a shit about that right now because it is the middle of May. It is my birth month, and it is the same month where Little Legendary announced Shade Protocol, and I am so happy that we get to like celebrate by having other members of the team for Shade Protocol on the show, like yourselves, like Dylan. So before we get into any of the Shade Protocol talk, I have a quick Kickstarter question for you. Very simple, I think, and I think this is a very important question to ask a game developer. What is your favorite game mechanic of all time?
Oh, wow. What a question. I thought the question would be like, what is your favorite game of all time?
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. I think one of my favorite mechanics, I guess, of all time is the main mechanic of Magica, the game, where you can combine different like elemental effects to make whatever. Like you can create like rocks, you can create like elemental rocks, for example, just coming from the sky or stuff like that, or fireballs, or electric-sized fireballs, whatever. Like this game is all about like combining elemental magic, and with like the amount of things you can do with that is humongous in my head. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's like 25 combination, whatever, 50. It's already a lot because it's like part of the game, and you solve puzzles or complete levels or kill enemies or do whatever, just have fun with your friends just by combining those like elements. It's so cool, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's like, I'm reading up here that there's like 8 elements that you can combine.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Wow. Came out in 2011. Wow. Okay. Magica. I was not expecting that. Never heard of this game, but it looks tight. Hell yeah, dude.
No way.
That's awesome. Okay. I love how this is. I can already tell this is going to be a very fun and interesting conversation. Okay. Before we even get to the video game stuff, I'm just setting up stuff. I'm teeing things up for later. I want to start at the beginning with you. Can you tell us, where did you grow up, and how would you describe the musical background of your childhood?
All right. So I was born in Kiev, Ukraine, 26 years ago.
We're the same age.
My upbringing. Oh, really? Okay,
wow.
Cool. Yeah, it like I had a pretty nice childhood, I think. I had like a lot of, like, my parents were always open for me to discover things. Like, you know, like if I want to draw something, they will like find an art school for me. If I want to like learn a musical instrument, they will find a teacher.
Wow.
If I want to learn a language, they will find a language teacher for that, and so on and so forth. Like, my parents were really open for me to like smarten up, I guess.
Right.
I was always into like multimedia, I think, like from when I was like 5 years old, I think. We had like a VHS camera at home. It was like 2005 or six, whatever.
Right.
And I remember recording like playing with toys that I had, like action figures mostly, playing some kind of like whatever, like wars or operations with like operatives and stuff like that. Like it was a lot of fun for me as a child, of course. But I'm pretty sure we have these cassette tapes at home, like even now. Then I started I kind of started drawing when I was like really young, but I guess I didn't love that much because I remember going to art school for probably like 3 times maybe. Like I really loved drawing with crayons, but that's all. Like I just couldn't draw like really well. It wasn't, I think, my thing. However, I think when I was like 7 or 8 years old, I discovered this magical thing called programming, and I was too young for that, of course. But I remember I was really good with like computers because I remember my first interaction with the computer was when I was like 3 years old, and that's insane to say, honestly. And it's not insane nowadays because kids get their like tablets and phones when they're like born. But with like, but in 2000s, it wasn't like that popular.
Oh, yeah.
I think. So I think, yeah, I remember I was playing like Freedom Fighters, really fun game when I was like 3 years old at my father's office. That's pretty cool, I think. So when I was like 5, I got my first PC with freaking 100 gigabyte of hard drive,
Wow.
which is insane
In
to
the
say,
early
you know?
2000s, yeah, that's huge. But now it's like nothing.
It's nothing. Or maybe it was like 70. I don't remember exactly.
Right.
Number.
That's
It wasn't
like
a lot.
that's like less than my flash drive. You know, my
I
flash
know,
drive
right?
is like 128 gigabytes.
Yeah, that's insane. So I think it was 128 actually.
Ha.
Makes sense. Yeah, so when I got my first PC, I started like going deep into like things like games, of course, and how can I make games, which is, again, like that's pretty strange for a kid, I think. Like, why would you even think about that? Why would you just go and play games? But for some reason, I wanted to make games because I think I had like a huge book with different answers to like school exams and stuff like that. Just trying to like for not people my age, of course, for people like for teenagers basically. And I read through that book, and I remember seeing like not an article, like maybe like 5 pages of programming, like random programming, like SQL, basic C++, just random scripts. And that's a funny thing. I remember just manually typing all that random code into my notepad, trying to make it work when I was like 7. And I just wasn't happy because it didn't work, because there is no compiler, it's just a notepad. I'm not saying that I went crazy. I was like, what's wrong? Like I'm doing all of that. Like all this code is in my notepad. Where's the game? Or where's the code? Or sorry, where's the program? Why is it not working? After that, I asked my parents to find me a C++ teacher or something like that. And I was already pretty proficient with like Word, Excel, and stuff like that. Like I could type really well for a 7-year-old kid. And I remember going there, and this teacher told me that it wasn't like a school. It was just like what was that? Not a private school. Sorry, like a specific school that will teach you programming. Like it's not like a regular school.
Right.
So it's kind of course, you know, it's like a programming course basically. So they told me that I'm too young to learn C++. I was furious, even though I was like 7. I was like man, like what are you talking about? Like I can type in Word pretty well. I can understand a lot of things. I know math. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, I want to learn programming. There's nothing wrong with that. Yes, I am 7 years old. What's up? Like, just tell me what to do, you know? So I got on the internet because I already had one, the connection to the internet, and I looked up like ways of making games, I think, or something like that, and stumbled upon Flash, and that was, I think, it was
On your
the thing that
PSP, right?
yeah. So the thing is, I stumbled upon Flash, but also when I was like 8, I got like the best 2 consoles I ever had because they opened like the console world to me, PSP and PS2, and I got them like in the spirit. Like I got one, and then in 2 days I got the PS2.
Wow.
I was like, man, like I'm the luckiest man in the world, or child, or kid, whatever. Like I have 2 consoles and my own PC, and I can do whatever I want, even though I need to go to school. And I remember seeing an article that you can make your own games for PSP, but not like in a regular fashion, as in like real games. But you can make Flash games and you can play them on your PSP. And I remember seeing a game that was made by some like Russian guy, like a Flash game that he could run on a PSP. Pretty badly though, because I mean that's a PSP and that's a browser on a PSP. You know, like it's probably not well optimized for that stuff.
Right.
So I like my timings of all these things are kind of muffled already because I'm like 26. It happened like 20 years ago. But I'm pretty sure like when I was like 7 to 8 years old, I discovered both like Macromedia Flash and that you can do like, and you can make games for PSP on Macromedia Flash. So I just downloaded one. I'm pretty sure it's a paid program, or it was a paid program. Whatever. Like I was a kid, so I just got one, and I started like trying to draw stuff like stick figures. I also remember playing a lot of Flash games on my PC, obviously, because it was popular back in the day. I'm not sure about like stuff like Newsgrounds and stuff like that, because I think I played like random games on random Flash game sites because I was a kid. Like I didn't care really. So yeah, I just started like drawing stuff, which I just couldn't do really because I couldn't draw, especially with a mouse. And I started going deep into like programming with Flash. And since I was really young, I just couldn't understand what's going on because I had no teacher. Like I only had people on the internet. It's all in English. I had like a really basic English, of course. Like I just started learning English because we learn English from like second grade, I think. So when we were like 7 years old. So I just started doing that. So I could barely recognize words. And a lot of stuff was written in English anyway, like tutorials and stuff like that. So if you're not an English speaker and you're a kid, it's kind of problematic to learn stuff this way. Maybe not nowadays though, since we have like translators and stuff like that. But I don't remember using a translator a lot back in the day, probably because it didn't exist.
Right.
So I just tried to do something really. Like I was, what's the word?
Experiment?
I was a curious, I was like a curious kid.
Ah.
I just wanted to learn a lot and do whatever, like whatever feels right. But then I just stopped doing that. Like I remember just going to Flash and doing random stuff with like zero output, just like playing some music. Sorry, not playing. Just getting some music and just trying to do whatever. But then later on, I switched to Lego films. I mean, again.
I remember those days.
I know,
Oh
right?
my god, I would watch a shit ton of like Lego Star Wars videos, man, and like the people were like so good back then. Like they would make a full on series, and I would like be invested in like what's happening to Lego Captain Rex or whatever. You know, oh man, blast from the past. Holy shit.
I know, right? Yeah.
But you would
So,
make your own?
of course,
Ah.
I still have them on YouTube. They are obviously they are like private,
Right.
and they were recorded on like since those were stop motion films. I started using my mobile phone at the time, like a Sony Ericsson something. It was a pretty good mobile phone, by the way. Like it had like a 3.2 megapixel camera, which was like a really good camera. If you're not using like a real camera,
Yeah.
for a mobile phone, it's pretty good. But then I started using my parents' camera, like a digital camera, and I started looking better. I learned how to do like green screen, how to increase the frame rate of my films, how to make things fly without, making them fly for real, of course. Stuff like that. Like I just learned a lot of techniques that I could use. And I was like 9 or 10. I learned how to edit videos, for Christ's sake. Like I was like so young, but so curious about stuff. Like I just wanted to do something with my life, probably. I don't know. Like there are people who are, I mean, I just thought from my experience with like talking to other people, of course. There are people who are not like that for some reason. Like they are not driven by anything. They just want to like kind of consume. I'm so amazed by that because I just don't remember being like that. Like I always wanted to do something. Apparently, it's not
Common.
It's it's not common. Fair, thank you. So yeah, I started doing Lego films, learn how to edit like videos and stuff like that, and then later on, I wanted to pursue game dev again. So I discovered Game Maker.
This next question requires a bit of context, so please bear with me because I think this is the perfect time to ask this. So I'm a producer and audio engineer for an NPR and PBS station here in Southwest Florida, and we have this other show called 3 Song Stories where we tell people's biography through music. The guests will come in, they'll pick 3 songs that every time they listen to these songs, they immediately get transported back to a time and place that they have a significant story associated with it. It could be anything. It could be something serious, something funny, a little anecdote, something depressing, or something very important, integral to their lives. It could be whatever. I want to ask you off the top of your head, do you have one song story you're willing to share?
So one of my favorite like hip hop artists is Exhibit.
Okay.
And I learned about Exhibit when I was like 5. Like again, like my father is a metalhead, but he's also a fan of hip hop for some reason. Like he loves Exhibit, like Eminem, 50 Cent, like pretty like a West Coast hip hop kind of stuff, but pretty old. And I remember because I was already aware of like typical English swear words when I was 5, which are like literally 2, and shit, because there are not others, or also bitch, because it sounds like beach. So Exhibit has this song called Motherfucker, and I was like, man, this song bangs. Like this song is so cool. But then my father told me that it's a swear word and you shouldn't like to tell that to anybody. I was like, man, like it's just a song. But I remember having like, there was no Spotify, of course,
Right.
and YouTube music at that time. And I'm pretty sure you know that program called Winamp.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. And I had all my like music library in this app, a program. And this song was all like in there. And I remember opening up my Macromedia Flash 8, opening up Winamp, and listening to Motherfucker by Exhibit. It's like the coolest kid in the world.
How does that song fit into your life today?
I think I listened to the song like yesterday.
Yeah?
I think it's just a fun song in general, and the album itself is, even though it has like political kind of like subcontext,
Right.
or like a silver lining, whatever, It's a pretty good album in terms of like sound. It's called Weapons of Mass Destruction, and it was highly inspired by the war in Iraq, I think, back in like 2004.
Right.
And this song is like it's part of this album, but damn, like if it's a song about like weapons of mass destruction, how is this song fits? I don't get it. But anyway, like this album is great. And it sounds pretty fresh even nowadays, I think. Like it's not like distorted 808s and stuff like that, of course, but it doesn't sound like freaking like Dr. Dre from the 90s.
Right.
Like it doesn't sound like boom bap kind of hip hop. It sounds
Right.
pretty modern to me. And this song is just a good remnants of the past, I think, for me. Like, whenever I listen to the song, I always remember me being that like 5-year-old curious kid, just doing my own thing in Macromedia Flash.
Wow. I feel like I say this a lot to whenever I'm talking to someone about like, growing up in certain ages or whatever. I feel like every generation says this about their generation, but I feel like our generation was like literally was the perfect one because like we were born at the turn of the millennium, like 2000. This was at a time where not too long ago, like 20 years ago, we had like a big boom of media technology. Video games like were a big thing then. A lot of great types of content from like shows, cartoons, movies, and stuff happened all like throughout the 70s to the 90s and stuff. And the 2000s, we had another giant boom within like what 15 years, 10, 15 years of technology just getting better and better. And we just lived at a good sweet spot where we can remember days before like computers and smartphones. And now we get to look back at what we have today in like put it into perspective on like how much things have changed, but it's maybe not, and like just how much quality of differences there are, when it comes to a whole bunch of things like, across media, video games, movies, shows, whatever. I really do think we grew up in a perfect time, man.
I guess I agree. It's kind of hard to disagree because from this perspective, it's kind of true. Like I remember days when we didn't have any like smartphones. Like I
Yeah.
remember playing games on my like on my mobile phone,
Yeah.
like a cell phone.
But you were saying like, you approached a point where you actually found like game development as a career and you wanted to like further dive into that.
Yeah, kind of. When I was 11 or 12, I dipped into Game Maker 8
Yeah.
at that time.
11 or 12,
Um,
man. Like I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off again, but I'm sorry. Like we're the same age and you've been doing this since like you were 4 or 5, and I'm like, dude, what the hell am I doing with my life? You were practicing Game Maker when you were 10 or 11, 12? Like, bro, come on.
yeah. I don't know.
That's
I
like
just
cool
had
as
the
hell,
passion.
dude.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I remember it's a small like, tangent from the story.
Yeah, yeah.
But I remember me and at that time, one of my best friends, we went to the premiere of The Expendables, the movie with Jason Statham,
Oh my god.
Stallone, whatever.
Oh my god.
They had brass knuckles in there.
Uh-huh.
And at the time, I was working on a game, which I actually stole from somewhere. Like it was like an open source kind of project, which I
Right.
downloaded and just modified. So it's not necessarily like stealing stuff, but at the same time, it's not like I came up with all of that. So
Right.
it was a co-op platformer. Sorry, not co-op, but like a versus platformer shooter, where you could have like multiple weapons and destructible environment. It was a lot of fun for us because we were pretty young and we just wanted to have fun with like together. and we had like controllers, which is actually insane. Like it was like 2011 or 12, whatever. Like anyway, we had like controllers.
Yeah.
And we played together. And the coolest thing about that is that whenever we wanted to add something, we kind of just could, because I knew some of the programming, and I could like get like sprites from the internet. So
Oh my God.
we went to the premiere of the Expendables, and Stallone had breast knuckles in there. I was like, man, I want to have melee in my game. I want to have breast knuckles. I spent 2 days doing that, and I just couldn't make it happen. Like I wasn't that good of a programmer when I was really young. But at least we had like a katana or a sword, which could dismember other player. It was insane, honestly. It was an insane time for us. We just had a lot of fun just making things. Never even thinking about like releasing all of that. It was just for us.
Yeah. You know how baller it is to say, I made a game for my friends and I, and if we ever wanted to like add things, and if we were ever like, oh, it'd be cool if this had this game or this had this mechanic or this thing, I can just do it. You know how baller that sounds, dude? Like, bro, like come on,
so.
that's like so many kids' dreams of just like being able to make their own game. Like that's freaking cool. Like that was never like in the realm of possibility to me when I was growing up, because I played games since my first console was the Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness Special Edition GameCube, man, and a DS Lite. I was like, hell yeah, this is fun. I'm too young to read, so therefore I'm not playing the games properly. But I still like knocked myself out, and like it wasn't until years later I'm like, oh yeah, video games, I understand. You're like leagues beyond so much of us growing up at that time, and that's just so freaking I just want to take time to highlight, like, recap everything you said. You were always an inquisitive, curious kid wanting to learn things in media in general. You tried some things out that didn't stick, art, music, okay, that's fine, you tried it out, but you found this one thing: programming, computers, games, and then like you took it and ran with it. Before we dive any further, can I ask, like, I think you already answered the question, but like the first game that really opened your mind to the world of gaming, I guess, what was that?
What do you mean by the world of gaming? Because I can definitely name the first game I've ever played,
Right.
but I'm not sure what do you mean by the question. Like,
I mean,
okay,
like,
yeah, go ahead.
something like a game you've played that opened your eyes into thinking like, this is more than just a video game. I'm
Okay.
like seeing the level behind just the pixels or whatever. Like, this is a real working thing that I can do. You know what I mean?
So I think the first game I've ever played, to like my memory, because I might have played something else before that, but I
Right.
don't remember. I was like 3 years old. It's like one of my first core memories in general, I think. Is Freedom Fighters,
Freedom
which is
Fighters.
a really fun
Yeah,
game.
you mentioned
where
that. Yeah.
you're playing as a New Yorker trying to deoccupy New York from the Soviet Union, which
Yep.
is insane.
Yeah.
Whenever I mention this game to people, 90% of the people don't know the game.
You
But the 10% that know the game, they are like, man, like that's a core memory for me.
and you played it on the PS2, I'm assuming.
No, on a PC.
On the PC. Wow.
And I think the first game, the game that opened the game dev, or sorry, not like the gaming for me, was probably GTA Vice City.
Vice City.
I remember playing this game a lot, Like,
No.
I even remember they had like a cheat code for the tanks,
Uh-huh.
which was probably Panzer or something like that.
Yeah.
And you just go to the pause menu, you type it in, and you get the tank, and now you're the coolest kid again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that was a lot of fun
Oh my God.
for me.
Okay. So to fast forward a little bit to, like, you actually taking this and taking it seriously and like trying to make a career out of it. You mentioned in your bio that You said games should feel like a cohesive experience, not just mechanics glued together. What's a game that fails that kind of test for you, and why does it bother you so much?
Um, I think there are some roguelites nowadays that fail that.
Mm.
Like, they are trying to just sell the mechanic to you. Like, they don't
Mm.
have the backstory, or it doesn't feel like this mechanic like belongs there. Um, which I feel like games like, for example, Mutagenics, like this game doesn't do that.
Genix.
Like this game feels like a cohesive experience for me. DSX feels like a cohesive experience for me.
Right.
I don't know, like Project Zomboid feels like a cohesive experience for me. Like, because these games, they're not trying to sell you the mechanic. They're trying to sell you the, Kendall loves the word fantasy. So I think the fantasy, yeah. I usually don't use this word. I use something different. Probably like the feeling. Like they are trying to sell you the feeling. You're either in a zombie apocalypse or you're like like a federal agent trying to uncover some conspiracies or whatever. Like they're just trying to sell you that feeling that you are playing as this character, or that you were like part of the game, basically. Because some games just make that for the love of the game, as in mechanics.
Right.
Which, I mean, I'm not like against that again. Like, it's okay if you make games like that. Like, I'm just a game dev, like, don't listen to me. But, like, it's just my personal feeling that if you're making a game, you should probably do something with this game. Like, you should probably tell some kind of story or try to translate some kind of feeling that you want people to feel while playing the game. Because what's the like reason to play the game anyway? Like if I want to just play with something, I would grab like a set of playing cards probably,
Right.
or a chess kit, or something else. Like I would just grab a game that is more of a just a gameplay. And it's kind of like popular nowadays to make, as I call them, bilateral likes, which is basically a game without any kind of like action thing going on. So it's like a turn-based, mechanic-heavy game where you have a lot of numbers going on. Games like
Ah.
Dice in a Million, for example, pretty cool game from what I've seen. However, this game is obviously a bilateral like, and I have nothing against that. I'm just saying, like, it's pretty obvious because it's UI heavy. It's based on numbers. It's based on RNG, and it's just kind of cozy. And I'm not making these kinds of games. I respect that, but I just feel like, and I love bilateral, by the way. I just feel like I want to make something more action heavy. Something like Hotline Miami, for example.
Hotline Miami. Wow. That's a trip, man. And as someone from Miami, I can say like, yeah, they got it. They got it, man. So you've always had this kind of mentality, or did you like learn that as you were going through your journey? Like I understand that you had this pivotal 5-year project that you were
Yep.
working on that ultimately failed. And I understand that reshaped your approach to making games. Is that where this mentality kind of came from?
I'm not sure, really. I think this mentality came in the past like few years by just looking around and seeing what types of games people make.
Really?
Yeah, I think I don't know. Like I think I grew a lot for the past like 5 years because I finished university. I made a lot of like progress in my I kind of like my projects. There was like 0 projects released, but whatever.
Right.
Just like trying to learn and trying to understand what types of games I want to make, and also working on like different games. I even worked in like freaking crypto, but that was really miserable. I just wanted like, I guess I just wanted a paycheck really. Like I needed to pay the rent,
Right.
and it was like okay, so just let me start with, I moved to Slovakia when I was like 18 years old, so I learned
Right.
the language. and I moved there because I wanted to finish the university outside of Ukraine because Ukrainian diploma might not be the best one most of the time. Like if you want to go abroad, for example, might not be the case nowadays because of the war. But back in the day, if you have an Ukrainian diploma, evaluating this diploma might be a problem. So me and my parents decided that I'm not going to like study in Ukraine, which I was okay with. Like I understood. Like a lot of my friends went to Europe anyway, so I was like fine. So I learned the language and I went there, and I spent 5 years in Slovakia.
Right.
And I finished the university in 2021, I think. And funny enough, my bachelor thesis was making a game in Godot, and we are developing Shade Protocol in Godot. So I knew Godot for, at that time, I think I actually discovered Godot in 2017. And that's like, I don't know, like I'm not sure if there's a lot of people who discovered Godot in 2017, really. So yeah, I think after university, I went into like the freelancing stuff because I wanted to, I don't know, like pay the rent and stuff like that. And my understanding of game dev just shaped in a different way, you know, like I just started realizing that I don't want to make whatever anymore. Like I want to make something that is interesting to play. And the thing is, this 5-year project, I still consider this game a pretty good game. The only drawback being that this game was made for mobile. And that's why it flopped big time, because making mobile games is really bad nowadays.
Right.
And even like 10 years ago, it wasn't like really easy because the market was already overwhelmed by the amount of slop. And like it's not even like comparable nowadays, of course. Like nowadays you have like millions of these games. But even in 2016, when we were already like 2 years deep into the project, we already seen like the sheer amount of slop going on in the mobile stores. And we weren't amazed by that because we were trying to make something cool that we would love to play. And we made the game like that. But again, it flopped. We've got like 200 downloads or something like that. I was pretty saddened by that. But I went to the university straight away, so I was like, whatever. I'm just gonna like learn something else.
Right.
And I went for the, again, like I'm a computer science bachelor of computer science. So I studied programming, I studied like databases, data structures, etc., computer graphics as well. We actually studied Flash at the university.
Wow.
In 2020.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wasn't that around the
and
time like Flash was like done? Like it was gonna be killed off or something?
exactly.
Yeah, like wow. God, I
even
remember that.
remember, yes, I even remember helping out some of my like peers with all these tasks because they had no idea how to work with Flash. Well, I had some kind of experience
You've
with
had a
Flash.
lot of experience playing around with it, yeah.
Yeah. So I earned some money from all these people who had no idea what to do with Flash. And I'm not ashamed of that. I mean,
You're a college student,
I
yeah.
get-
You gotta do what you gotta do, man. I get it.
yeah. You gotta grind, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think after like 2021 or 2022, I got hired by that crypto studio, and I realized that I don't want to do it. Like I don't want to make crypto games at all. Like these games suck. Like they were selling the idea, and they never really sold the game. Like the game was like, sorry for my language, ass. Like that was like a really bad kind of gameplay they had over there. They were trying so fucking hard to copy Pokemon with dinosaurs, with the battle mechanic of freaking, I don't even know how to explain that. Like you had like action cards, and you had like you could like summon dinosaurs.
Like Yu-Gi-Oh?
I guess something like Yu-Gi-Oh. I've never actually played Yu-Gi-Oh, so I have no idea. But I think it was pretty similar. So the idea was that you would collect dinosaurs, as in like Pokemon, kind of,
Sure.
from the game world or from freaking buying these dinosaurs. which most people did, I think.
Right.
Because if you want to earn these dinosaurs, you would need to grind so hard.
A gotcha game.
Like, yeah, it was basically a gacha game, right? And I even remember working on some feature that was promised, and they even earned money on that feature. Like they already sold the feature to people,
Right.
as in like some NFTs, but it wasn't in the game yet. I was like, bro, like what are we trying to do here? Like, is it like a freaking scam? Like, am I a part of the scam? That was insane, really. But that shaped my understanding of games, I think, because I started realizing that I just don't want to do things like that anymore.
Right.
Like, I want to do something cooler than that. And in 2024, I moved to Calgary in 2023. So before that, my English was much worse than nowadays. I think I couldn't communicate properly, really. Like, I had troubles with that because I forgot how to talk because of Slovakian language. Like,
Right.
my brain just couldn't handle more than, like, 3 languages at a time. So I started relearning English, and obviously I met, like, Dylan, Tyler, and other people. And one of them recommended me to Kendall. For this random Godot gig. I'm like, man, Godot gig? What are you talking about? Like, there are no gigs in Godot at all, ever. Nobody's hiring Godot devs. And I was like so ecstatic about that. Like, man, like I can work in Godot and I can earn money. What? So I met Kendall and we just started working in Shape Circle. That's all. Like, and I started like, and before that, I went to like multiple game jams. I talked to like different game devs. I got all these perspective of game dev. I was really heavy like on Twitter, as in as a reader. You know, I've got like familiar with so many indie games on Twitter, which probably half of them never got released at all, which is obvious. But I just started to understand that indie game dev is not about like probably not about like making a mechanic, but making something that you feel is cool. And that's like so odd to say because nowadays if you're making something cool, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will sell the game. Fair enough. But I'm so experienced that I don't care. Like, I guess I can go and like kind of like work as a programmer somewhere else and make the game of my dreams if something goes wrong, you know, like I already know programming well enough that it doesn't matter for me if I want to make like a hit or not, really. Like if I want to make something, I will, just because I feel like I know how to do that. And I have a feeling that the way I will make it, it like will make me happy, if that makes sense. Like, I don't need to make game that follows the trends nowadays, I feel like, because I would not get anything from this game except for maybe money, but it's also not a guarantee, really. Like, yeah, of course, you can make a Blood Light if you want to. It's not gonna be like a quick project, of course, because you're gonna come up with all these effects. You need to come up with like the main mechanic of the game. What's different about the game from Bloodthrow? Is it a chess kind of game? Is it like a slot machine kind of game? Dice throwing, whatever. Like, you need to come up with that. Then you need to come up with the effects. You need to make it all feel correct in the context, and then you release the game. Man, like, I'm not interested in that. I just want to make something action, like action heavy. Like, again, as Hotline Miami, you know,
Right.
I love these types of games. I would love to make an FPS, but FPS don't sell. And that's like contradicted to what I just said. But like making an FPS is so much harder than making like a 2D game for me.
Right.
I'm a 2D developer. So I remember making a Souls-like, not the best type of thing that you can start making if you're not a 3D developer. Again, keep in mind. But I started making a Souls-like called Slay Girl. It was about the girl that slayed girls. That's all. Like, it was just a Souls-like about the girl with a scythe, and she had this strong scythe attack, and she could roll, and she could dodge, and I had like was that like a camera focusing on the enemies. I forgot what's the name of that thing. Like it's specific to
Z
Souls
targeting?
likes. Yeah, thanks. Z targeting.
Yeah.
Z targeting took me like probably 2 weeks to make.
Right.
Like it was really hard to figure out how to make this work correctly. But anyway, I just made this prototype. I was like, man, like this is so overwhelming. Like I need to make a character. I need to animate the character. I need to texture the character. Then I need to come up with the mechanics. Then for every freaking mechanic, I need to model things. Then I need to level design. Then I need to do this. Then I need to do that. I need to program anime AI. I hate this.
Right.
I don't want to do that. I want to make like 2D games. 2D games are so much easier. And then after like a few months after that, it was like early 2024. I switched to, sorry, I got laid off from that crypto job. I mean, no, that's not the correct way of saying that actually. They've got bankrupted. Yeah. And then we all got laid off.
Right.
So I thought that it would be a good idea to make something myself, like my own project, just trying to maybe earn money, but at least trying to prove that I'm a game developer first of all, and I can make things. And I started working in a game called Bean Deho, which is a game about a Mexican jumping bean just trying to survive in the Old West. And this game was heavily inspired by nothing. I just wanted to say that the gameplay mechanic of this game was and is that you cannot it's not a twin stick shooter. It's a game where you have triggers to spin your gun. And that's the main mechanic. And it makes people frustrated for a sec because I'm pretty sure nobody has ever played a game like that. Like I've actually worked on a game like that with a similar mechanic, but it was like a cozy game about hula hoops where you had to solve puzzles by throwing the hula hoop to a correct person. And you had like different obstacles, wind, whatever. It was a pretty cool game actually. It was made in Game Maker as well. But with this game, I just wanted to make something fun, after crypto slop. And I started thinking about what exactly I want to make. And now I know what the description of the games I want to make is, as in my projects, of course, like personal projects, not work projects. Wacky, goofy, bullshit nonsense. Like something that is fun to play, but it not necessarily makes a lot of sense.
Right.
So in this game, for example, so Mexican jumping beans are not beans. They're like larvas. So whenever you die, you have a larva jumping off you, of your corpse, I guess. And now I'm thinking that maybe in the future I'll add the feature that you might revive by entering into another veggie, because you're fighting veggies. You're fighting chili peppers, freaking tomatoes, garlics, you name it. And it's all really, it's like Hotline Miami, but it's roguelite, so it's really fast. It has a lot of blood, but it's not blood, it's veggie juice,
Right.
It's obvious. And you have wacky stuff going on, and I don't care. If I want to make the bullets multiply by 5 in size, I will do that, because I feel like that would benefit the gameplay, because the game is not about cowboys, really. The game is about wackiness. It's in the name. It's called Bean Deho.
Right.
As in Deho. He's just dumb. That's the type of games that I want to make nowadays. I'm not saying that I don't know, Shape Circle is not like that, okay? But it doesn't necessarily mean that I don't like Shape Circle. I love this game too. It's just different vibe. I will never make a game like that myself, because I understand that it takes so much time to make a Metroidvania, especially a serious one, with game design decisions that might be really serious and that might change the trajectory of the project. Man, I'm just making wacky games. That's what I would love to make myself with my stuff. But again, I also figured out World Cut.
You figured out the World Cut, which is a giant achievement, let me tell you. Um,
Thank you.
and yeah, since we're here, let's dive further into Shade Protocol. Yeah, you are the lead developer of Shade Protocol, a cyber fantasy Metroidvania that is coming out soon. Wishlist now on Steam. Hashtag not an ad. You're building Shade Protocol, but not just as a game, if I understand correctly, but as an experience. Kendall loves to talk about this game in the way of like this is a fantasy, cyber fantasy, right? Like there is more to this than just it being a Metroidvania. um what emotion or feeling are you most obsessed with making the player walk away with? Is it the world cut, or is there something else that you're cooking up?
I feel like so whenever I show this game to my friends, like any like updates that I can show to them, I'm not showing
Right.
anything hidden or any spoilers. Whenever I show them like World Cup gifts, um, they're usually mesmerized, kind of like they are not really understanding what's going on, but at the same time they're, I guess the word is perplexed. Like they are enjoying what they are seeing, I think,
Right.
in a way. Especially with the newest edition, kind of newest edition, like it's pretty old at this point, with the gears that we showcased. Like you have like puzzles that you can figure out with like World Cuts, where you have like, for example, you have a door and you have like a bunch of gears. You need to like combine gears together to open the door. Like, it's really simple for a person to come up with as a game design idea. But man, it's complicated to make it work. Like, I cannot put it into words really how hard it is to make it work. Because what I'm doing is I'm essentially connecting those gears to the door with like an imaginary wire. And then whenever you cut the world, you cut the wire too. So the wire moves accordingly to the part of the screen that it's located in. So if you have like, so sometimes you just cut it like the right way and they connect together. And it's all like programmed, it's all dynamic. Like it's not a static thing at all. Like I literally spent like 2 weeks working on this stuff, like making it work. Because I had to cut a lot of stuff in the game with the World Cup. Like I had to split like some different zones, like for cutscenes, for example. Because if you split the screen and you have a cutscene zone somewhere else, and you essentially enter this zone, but you, like realistically, physically, you don't enter this zone, but for you, you enter the zone visually. It's gonna be kind of complicated for the person to understand, because they might expect something to happen over there, but nothing's happening. So I had to literally physically split those shapes into, or slice those shapes into 2 shapes and move them accordingly, and do that with some specific shapes. I'm not doing that with every shape in the game, of course. That would be like overwhelming and honestly unreasonable. But I'm doing that with some specific shapes. And the imaginary wire is one of them. So whenever you connect 2 things like gears or doors to gears, whatever, if you slice this wire, it will slice it for real into 2 different shapes. And we'll try to connect them together if they are like nearby. And this way you can like open doors now with World Cup. It's pretty insane, because previously it wasn't that much of a deal really. Like, yes, you can split the world in half. Yes, you can like solve some puzzles. But honestly, what kind of puzzles are you gonna solve with that if there are none? Like, if the only puzzle that you can solve is the movement puzzle, like it's not a really exciting mechanic, I think. But when we realize that we can do stuff like gears or like platforms that you can slice, and they will like adapt to the angle of your slice and give you some kind of like boost or whatever, and they will exist for like, let's say, like 6 seconds in the world, so you could like proceed with your platforming. That opened a lot of possibilities for us, because now we can develop and design really cool puzzles and levels just because we have these 2 things.
I have to know from your point of view, when Kendall mentioned the idea pitched the idea of the World Cut, immediate reactions, what were they?
Yeah, it was pretty. It's a funny story because he did not pitch one idea. He actually pitched two ideas, and I made both work in 1 week. I'm not sure if I should disclose the other one. I'll just say that it was like another idea that I made happen in like 2 days. But the story is that we had to show something for the expo, and he came up with the World Cup idea and that other idea. And he told me that we don't have a lot of time to do that. We have only like until Friday or Thursday, and it was Monday.
God.
I was like, man, like, what's wrong with you? Like, why would you come up with stuff like that and tell me that like 4 days before the thing? But anyway, like we had a pretty long call, probably like 5 or 6 hours long, just trying to understand how we can make it work. And he had different ideas. He definitely had one that was like literally like a static area where you could cut the area, and that's all. Like you just go there, you press the button, and it cuts the thing. I was like, man, like that's so silly. Like, why would I want to do that at all? Like, it's so like simple, yet you also cut the world in half. So it's still gonna take me a lot to program that for basically a static interaction. Like, it just doesn't worth it. And then after like 4 or so hours, I was like, man, like I actually have an idea. What if we don't split the world for real, as in we split every sprite, we split everything? Yes, we can do that, but it's hard to do, and at the time I didn't know how to do that anyway. What if we split the physical world? And by physical world I mean tiles, literally. So you have like physical tiles placed in the world that you could just split into 2 sites, and you can just move them accordingly. And then you use a shader to split the world visually. So players will not ever know that it's like a kind of, not necessarily a fake split, but we're not slicing everything for real. Like we are slicing only certain things for real. But they will still have this effect, which is the desired effect of the thing. Like, you don't care if you slice everything for real. You care about the slicing in general. Like, you care that you can solve the puzzle with that. So I just did that in 2 days. I think it was like pretty rough, of course. It wasn't as beautiful as you can see that.
2 days.
Yeah. And yeah, I was like, man, like, this sucks. Like, because we initially didn't have any restrictions, and you could angle the cut in like 360 or something like that. And I quickly realized that it's insanely problematic, because you cannot slice tiles like that. Like, I just had to, the only way I could slice the tiles properly would be to make it rotate in 45-degree angles, I think.
Right.
Which I did. But then I had to come up with some magic numbers to make it work correctly, because there were some misalignments here and there. I was furious because I had a deadline. I had to finish this feature. It didn't look correctly. I was like, man, like, I freaking hate that. I also had to develop the other feature. But like, for some reason, I probably had like a lot of coffee around that time too, which probably helped me. Bad thing to say. We're not promoting coffee here. So yeah, so I was just pumped to finish this thing. And when I finished, I was like, man, like, that's like a huge thing, I think. Like, it seems like this might sell the game for real now. Like, this seems like a big deal. Apparently it is. Apparently it's like one of the things that people remember. Like,
100%.
Yeah, like some people ask, some people go to the server and they ask if it's the game that has the split effect. Like, bro,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Did Kendall show you like that one other game, the only other game that has actually done something like this? It was like an old...
We had no idea.
You had no idea it existed.
We had no idea. We learned about this game, I think the day OTK Expo showed the game.
Wow.
Yeah, like people started linking the game to us. and I learned that this game existed. I was like, man, like as usual, a Flash game that made this before us, like just the way it happens, like like Flash games made all of that. I'm pretty
No,
sure there's a game that made Bloodthrow, but it wasn't
right.
Flash.
So like no context, no like reference points. He just said, "Here's my idea," and you're like, "Shit. Wait a
Yeah,
minute. Wait a minute. Got it. Okay." So like this is interesting because I think there's a perfect example of like what you were saying earlier of like, you know, you like to make games with silly crazy mechanics, and I would assume something like this really like challenge you and put your developer skills to the test, no?
absolutely. Like 1000%, I think. Because as soon as I realized that you can do that, as in I had an idea of how to do that, I was already challenged with that. Like, sorry, as in like I wanted to accept the challenge. Like I wanted to prove that I can do that.
Right.
Just because it sounds cool, and also it probably might look cool, and it did. But it was like a huge pain in the ass to make it happen. And I remember I actually had to refactor this code heavily after like 6 months or so because it was like really unreadable. There was a lot of like magic numbers, a lot of trickery, a lot of just magic in general, and a lot of things that I did not command. So I had a script with 600 lines of just things going on. Like when you do this, you like split the block out, but you split the block out in this way, and then you generate like left and right side based on like how it splits, whatever. But man, like it was such a spaghetti code for me because I'm not used to making like spaghetti code really. Like I'm trying to make it as understandable as I can without any commentaries. However, nowadays I try to comment everything I see just because we have so many things going on in this game. I
Right.
actually started losing track of things.
I know Kendall has mentioned that the World Cut is not even the craziest things you guys got planned.
I guess. It's not like I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just that I'm not sure what he wanted to say by that.
yeah.
Because again, like I have no idea. Maybe tomorrow he will just like get up and come up with something else. I'm like, man, I gotta do that too. Okay, fair. Like I mean, I love that, but at the same time, I think there should be a point where we should stop doing that.
Sure.
Just because like gameplay cannot consist of crazy shit all the time.
Right.
Like if you reserve something for the second game or for something like for some other project, just like write it down somewhere. We'll work on that later on in another game because this game already features World Cut.
Right. So to tie something back of what we talked about earlier about, games should feel like a cohesive experience, not just mechanics glued together. So far, I know Shape Protocol is still in development. I know that it's a lot of things are subject to change until its release. But so far, how do you feel Shade Protocol is doing in that sense of that cohesive experience?
I would say we're working on that. Like
Mm.
story-wise, it's probably a cohesive experience already. As in not whatever presented in the game, but whatever presented on paper. Um, what we have in the game is more or less a cohesive experience, but the thing is we are working hard on the demo. We are trying, like we had a lot of like deadlines related to like showcasing the demo
Yeah.
to people, and that's kind of like that complicates the whole process because sometimes you just need to do something like pretty quickly, and because of that it's really hard to plan some things. But I mean, just in general, like as an experience, I think it's pretty cohesive, but it kind of lacks some things here and there, but it's okay. Like it's a demo, first of all, and second of all, it's an unfinished demo. So as soon as it's finished, it's going to be a cohesive experience. There is no way it won't. Otherwise, I will be really pissed. Like I'm one of the people on the team that is like pushing hard for like level design improvements, like UI things. I'm not saying that I'm like a saint or something like that. I'm
Right.
just saying that I'm like bothered with that. So whenever I see something like wrong or something that doesn't feel right to me, I would obviously address that and I will try to fix it myself. But usually it's not the correct way of doing that, of course. So I usually try to talk to like Durrani or Denny and Kendall, obviously, about those things. And they usually get like, they give like really nice, like we have a really nice discussion out of that. Just because they have like all the necessary experience for that. Funnily enough, I've never really played Mega Man in my life. I've never really played Metroid up until last September. I've never really played Hollow Knight
Wow.
up until Silk Song. I'm just another type of player, I think. Like I played other games. I've played a shit ton of wrestling games.
Right.
Like I know like and that's a funny thing to say. Like I know how every SmackDown versus Raw game plays. Like I can, whenever I'm selecting whenever I want to pick a game that I want to play, and it's a wrestling game, I'm like, man, do I want to play No Mercy, or Fire Pro Wrestling, or SmackDown versus Raw 2006, or maybe 2011 because it has this like cool physics going on, or maybe WWE 13 because it has like CM Punk in a cool outfit, or more Legends. I'm like I know these games so well that I have like a mental map in my head where I can go back and see and like relate to my emotions that are related to these games and just pick the right one for the evening, for example. But I don't have the mental map for a fucking Mega Man. Like I've just learned that there's like a game called Mega Man Battle Network. This game is so cool, honestly. Like I love how it's trying to reinvent the whole thing. Like it's not about Mega Man really, as like from the gameplay perspective. It's not trying to make a Mega Man game here. It's trying to make something different. Like in general, it's just different in genre. Even though it's an RPG or whatever. I know Mega Man is not an RPG, but it's like a story-based kind of thing.
Yeah.
With a lot of not interaction, like fights with whatever viruses or something like that. And you have this cool like fighting sequence where you have like cards, but it's like turn-based and also real-time. I'm like, man, like they came up with that for Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
No shit. Like, what? I also played pretty recently. I played like Mega Man 01.
Oh my God.
Man, this game sucks. Why is it so hard? Like, and I'm playing on my 3DS, and the game is injected, which means that I'm trying to relieve the Game Boy Advance experience, which results in me not having any save states.
Right.
So whenever I die for real in this game. I couldn't pass the first boss. That's what I can say. Like I'm just not that great of a player, I think.
Mega Man's hard, man.
I know. But like with all these games, like I don't have these experiences. I have like different experiences. While Durrani or Denny or Kendall, they've played all these games, and probably when they were like really young. I just wasn't open to these games when I was young. Like Nintendo consoles are not popular in Ukraine for some reason. So whenever I played games, I played like GTA, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, again, wrestling games, like other stuff really. Like mostly ultra realistic kind of thing. You know, where like we had this thing where if the game looks like Mario, it's like for kids. And people say that a lot on the internet, of course. But we had this mindset when we were really young. Like when I was like 8, I remember telling that to my like friends. And I was so wrong. But I was also a huge fan of Sonic for some reason. I don't know why. Which kind of contradicts with the idea of like ultra realistic games, you know?
Yeah. I'm actually responding to Kendall about something too. So hey, shout outs to Kendall.
Oh.
What's up, Kendall?
Okay.
I'm telling him I'm currently interviewing Illia, getting all the spoilers. JK. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, Mega Man, hard as hell. But so taking that into consideration, having no prior experience with Metroidvanias as a whole, um, getting to learn as you go, I'm sure that's like an eye-opening experience because you're making something you've literally never have experienced before. Um, with the way Kendall runs the server, the Discord server, which you listeners should definitely join, by the way, you get to experience like live feedback and you get to like really connect with the dev team and share your feedback and potentially like make an impact on the game. That's why we have the Spear Vault now. Thanks a lot. With the community going, you guys have DAUs, which allows the opportunity for the community to give feedback to what you guys are currently making. Has that genuinely changed your perspective on the game at all?
Probably.
Probably,
yeah. I'm pretty sure it did change. Just because it's not just coming up with like random stuff anymore, really, because we always ask people about this kind of stuff. So whenever we have a crazy idea, we would discuss that. We would probably have approved that if we like that. But then we also go and ask people. And if people are okay with that, there is a high chance that we will implement that into the game because we already like want to make it anyway. But if there is something that just doesn't work, and I think one of the not like recent, but like semi-recent cases is songs or melodies or something like that, which were tied to your combos. So like this mechanic was based on you using your like specific instruments and specific combos to get like I don't like power-ups or something like that. Like, so if you use spear a lot, like if you use spear 3 times in a row, you will get...
Oh, you're talking about the melodies.
Probably, yeah,
Yeah.
melody. We had like different names. And I think we had the melody system before for something else, so I just mixed up the name. So yeah, anyway, like this system was designed... like it's not like a real system really. Like,
Right.
It's just basically like a bunch of power-ups. Kendall came up with that, and we were okay with that because it made sense. But then people were so strongly disagreeing with that for some reason, like for one or another reason. I was like, man, like it kind of makes sense because you're trying to do so many things with the battling mechanic in general, like with how the fights go, that it just makes the gameplay overwhelming in the end.
Right.
So like dropping this feature is okay. And like a lot of people, from what I remember, a lot of people were like, this feature doesn't make any sense because why would they use protocols then? Or why would they use this? Or why would they use that? Like, yes, that makes sense to me because I'm also a game designer most of the time. Not on the project, but like in general. Like I'm thinking about like games as a game designer, how one feature flows into another, or why one feature exists. And why is it designed in such a way? Like I'm always thinking about these things. And with this feature, I was like, man, like I'm not sure if I'm really like pro making the game overwhelming like that.
Right.
With, like a lot of things going into one of the most active mechanics in the game anyway, because you need to fight enemies all the time. So I'm not saying I was like relieved or something. I was like, man, like if people are against that, then it's okay. Like, I don't feel strongly pro this mechanic anyway. Like, if it doesn't need to exist, then it's okay. Like, we'll come up with something else, you know? Like, and if we want to, we can put that as an unlockable or something like that. Like a feature that you will unlock later in the game if you want to use it at all. Or maybe it can be like automatically... I think the melody system was manually triggered. And it was like a huge deal for a lot of people because they need to juggle fighting enemies and enabling this thing all the time.
Right.
So if it's like automated, maybe that would solve like half of the problems. Not sure, but like there are some things that people just reject for a good reason, and I agree on that. Like not everything should be in this game for an obvious reason. Like, it's not an everything game. It's a Metroidvania with a specific concept. So if something doesn't feel right, then it doesn't feel right and just doesn't belong to the game. I'm okay with that. If people like most of our like community is people it is based on not based is composed of people who are more gamers than me. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Like I'm not that type of gamer anymore. Like I usually play like retro games and games that I'm interested in. So I'm not trying to learn how to play. I don't know. Like I have Hollow Knight on my PC. I played Hollow Knight for maybe an hour. Like I know how this game plays, and it's pretty good. I just don't feel like completing this game. I don't know. Like, for some unknown reason. Like I have Silksong on my Switch. I played Silksong for 4 hours. I'm not saying that's a bad game. It's a really good game. I just don't have time, and I also don't feel like
the motivation.
There's no motivation for me to overcome all these obstacles.
I get it.
Like this game is really hard sometimes.
I get it.
For a reason. Yeah, like I understand why it's hard. I'm just not that type of player yet, I think. Like I need to complete Hollow Knight before I complete Silksong, probably this kind of stuff.
Sure.
Maybe I need to complete Shade Protocol before completing Silksong. Or like Nine Souls. Like I tried this game.
That's still in my backlog.
Oh man, this game is really hard.
I bet.
Like I remember playing like the first hour of this game. I'm not sure if I ever. Yeah, I think I completed the first boss of the game. Damn, like I remember replaying the first area of like 10 times. It was like insanely hard. And I guess I'm just not used to that type of gameplay anymore. Like when I was like a teenager, I played a lot of platformers, like Super Meat Boy.
Right. Oh my God. Then that's a hard game.
Oh yeah, that's a hard game.
Oh.
I really loved Super Meat Boy. Like Gish, some other platformers. Like there were so many of them back in the day. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I played a lot of platformers. Prince of Persia as well. But then like I just stopped doing that, and I forgot how to play platformers like that. And I'm pretty sure they just dropped gradually in the like difficulty when I was playing it. Like I mean, Super Meat Boy is obviously hard, but you don't necessarily need to spend all the time like playing hard levels. You know, you can play like beginner level, like starting levels, and be okay with that. I think I almost completed the game actually. Like I was enjoying the game. But with like Hollow Knight or like Silksong or Nine Souls, I think I'm overwhelmed with the amount of content they have right beforehand, because I already know like yes, Silksong is a game for 50 hours. Like man, like I don't have 50 hours to spare in this game.
And usually Metroidvanias are like 6 to 8. If you want to go for a completionist run for your first time, like 13 maybe, you know?
What? Yeah,
usually for Metroidvanias.
Yeah, I remember playing Metroid Fusion.
Oh, yeah. It's my favorite Metroid game.
This game is really good.
Yeah.
But I played the first 4 hours. It's probably like 5 hours in length.
That's like, yeah, that's like 65% of the game.
Probably, yeah. So yeah, I'm at like 65% of the game, and I just couldn't figure out how to progress. Like there was something in there that I just forgot what.
Sure.
Like, I didn't realize what to do, or if like skipped some kind of tutorial or whatever, and I'm just stuck. And now whenever I return to this game, I'm like, man, like I don't want to play that anymore. I don't know, like this game feels right. Like I feel sometimes even OP in this game. Like this game is so good. And it's like challenging sometimes, of course. Like some bosses, I remember replaying them for like 10 times or even more. But it doesn't matter. Like this game is really good. But I have no clue what to do. Like I'm stuck in that loop, and I'm stuck in like a really short loop because I also cannot move anywhere. Like I'm stuck in like 3 rooms. And I have no idea what to do in this game anymore. I guess I gotta like,
usually when you're stuck in like in a room or something, just bomb everything, just shoot missiles at every corner of the walls and ceilings, man. You'll find something.
Man, I've tried actually. But yeah, you're right. You're right. I think when I had like situations like that, I actually did the exact same thing,
Right.
and it helped me.
Yeah,
Man, Metroid, it's like Metroid Fusion, especially such a good game.
it's great.
I remember there was like a moment where I dropped a bomb somewhere, and I discovered a hidden passage. I was
Yeah.
like, man, what? Like this game is so old,
Yeah.
and it's so packed with things.
Yeah, man. Oh, I love it. So, right before we get into the speed round, one last question. If Shade Protocol succeeds exactly the way you want it, what does that mean to you personally, not just professionally? So I know we're still a few years out from release, and that's a long time, but, from what you can think of now.
I mean, first of all, I'll probably be almost 30 around that time. Let's start with that. But before that, I think it would be either the first, probably would be the second commercial game that I will release, or I would be like a part of, as in like a huge game or a game that has some kind of meaning to it. Because all of my previous projects, them being like a freelance project or that crypto thing, like those games, they are either in the early access or they're like mobile games,
Right.
or again crypto games. Like, so these aren't like Steam games. Like I cannot just go and say that I'm like I mean, I can say that I'm a seasoned game developer, of course, but I cannot say that I have like so many projects behind my belt, and all these projects are like Steam games, because
Right.
a lot of people see that as some badge of quality, I think, which I guess I agree with, but at the same time, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm a bad programmer. It's just what it is, kind of. But for me, the success of Shade Protocol would mean that, man, like I'm part of a really great game. Like I'm one of the reasons why this game succeeded, I think, as well. Like, why not being dramatic about that in a good way? Like, yes, I'm part of the team that made that happen. I'm one of the people that came up with World Cut. I'm the one
In 2
who made
days.
the World Cut. In
In
2
2
days.
days.
I met cool people in the team. I met Durrani, I met Danny, I met Pixel, I met Kendall. I mean, man, why is Kendall always like last on the list? I think because it's obvious that I met Kendall. Because
Yeah.
he's not part of the team, he's the game director. He is the team, basically. But like Durrani, Danny, they joined later on. So they're like, I met them while already working on the game. So it's like different. And they have like so much experience behind their belts. Like that's insane. Like they are so good with what they are doing. And just having like a project like that in my portfolio is already cool. But having a success behind a project like that is like cool multiplied by 10.
Yeah.
Man, like it would mean a world to me, I think. And also like if I can continue working in Godot as as my day job, man, that's great. Like it's really hard to find a job like that because as you can see from my resume, I've never had a job that is not related to game dev. For some unknown reason, I never wanted to, like I had a few moments when I was like, man, like if I gotta find a job, I probably have to go and not necessarily go to 9 to 5 as in like to a bar or something like that, but I have to find like a job in web dev probably, or like making apps or something like that. But I always met somebody who hired me right after that. That being that crypto game or Kendall, or I had another game like adult visual novel made in Game Maker. Like
Right.
a guy just hired. He's from the US, by the way. Like I was like in Slovakia at that time. He hired me because I was experienced enough. Plus, I asked, like my rate was like €5 an hour. Dude, like €5 an hour is like nothing.
Yeah.
And he was so happy to have me on the team.
I bet.
Because, man, like Yeah, like this guy knows Game Maker so well.
And only
I'm like,
€5
man, like,
an hour? Yeah. What
yeah,
a deal!
what a deal! And it's like insanely hard to find a Game Maker gig as well.
Yeah.
So I guess I was lucky enough to find these gigs, even though I understand that like game dev doesn't pay well in comparison. Like it pays
Right.
well, not like €5 an hour, of course. But if you compare that to like web dev, like it's like totally different numbers. But I mean, I'm okay with that. Like I chose creativity over money, even though we need both to survive.
Wonderfully said, man. I have no doubt that Shade Protocol will be a complete success. I mean, it is literally, and look, I'm saying this not just because Little Legendary and the Razzle Dazzle Show have a good relationship and are collaborating together. I'm not saying this just because of this. When Danny first contacted me about Shade Protocol, because we already knew each other because of Elsie, like another game he worked on. Shout outs to Night Shift Games. He showed me Shade Protocol before it was announced, and I was blown away from everything that I saw. I loved. I'm a big sucker for retro inspired games, pixel art games, whatever. I love Metroidvanias. Like a lot of what is in the identity of Shade Protocol is something that I love. A heavy emphasis in music, man, love it. Some really cool dynamic combat where you use weapons or instruments as weapons. Like, dude, like that is so freaking cool. And I can barely think of a handful of games that do something similar to that. That being said, when Danny approached me, I was like, dude, you want me to like help collaborate with these guys? Fuck yeah. You know, and then like seeing how well Kendall runs the Discord in the community and like how well organized he is. And I'm like, dude, this is from some of the best well run studios I've seen. And like how crazy it is, like having all of this community feedback and engagement every week. Like we've surpassed 100 DAUs, man. That's a lot in a year. You know, that's almost two a week, you know, and I am so thrilled to be a part of this opportunity, and I'm so excited to see how Shape Protocol becomes at the end. And I can guarantee this will be a success. Not just because of the cool mechanics of the World Cut, of course that's a big part of it, but about every single aspect of the game. You, Danny, Durrani, Pixel, like Dylan, every aspect of what I'm seeing and hearing and experiencing, there's a lot to this game. And it's going to knock the competition out of the water. I can guarantee it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think I'm like blown away actually by the way people see the game.
Yeah.
Because I obviously perceive the game differently because
You're
I'm
making it.
working on the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm making the game, so it's like different for me. But whenever, like I remember a year ago when the trailer just released, I actually remember watching the stream, the OTK Expo.
Yeah.
And it was during a game jam that we had. We call it arcade jam. So we have like arcade cabinets in Calgary, which we made as an association.
Sick.
Yeah, it's really cool. And you can make games for these cabinets because they're running on like Windows. So we had a game jam for these cabinets, but simultaneously there was an OTK Expo going on. So I remember watching the stream while people around me just were like making games, you know. And I remember seeing, like I remember watching for the whole presentation, and there was like no Shade Protocol. I was like, man, like where is the game? You know, I'm waiting for the game. And then at the end they say that there is only one game remained, and it's gonna be a world real. I was like, man, there is no way we are the last. And they proceed with, this game is called Shade Protocol. I'm like, man, no fucking way. And then they show the trailer, and people in the chat go nuts, and this dude Asmongold goes nuts.
Yeah.
Kind of, and all these other streamers. I'm like, man, like that's like really cool. I've never had that happen to me before, because I've never had this like I guess coverage of the games that I've worked on, really. So seeing the game on a huge stream with people just watching the trailer and streamers watching the trailer, like, man, it's just unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
And then I remember going through for the next like month, going through all the comments on YouTube for every like trailer or video, kind of in an obsessive way as Kendall does that, but without replying to anybody. Because I remember him mentioning that he spent like the first day just replying to people. I guess I wouldn't be able to do that. It's just like I have other things to do because I'm a programmer.
Yeah. You got to make the game, man.
Yeah, I gotta make the game. Yeah, but also it's kind of hard for me to do that because I'm not that good with like writing stuff up. Really, like it takes a while for me to come up with the sentences
Right.
that would sound naturally. Because again, like it's like my third language because I'm bilingual. So let's say like second language. So it takes a while for me to come up with something. And also I don't want to sound like I'm like stupid. So I need to, like I have this perfectionism in my mind sometimes. Like I need to come up with a sentence that sounds well. So I'm pretty sure that would take me a lot to answer all these people.
Yeah.
But it's really fascinating to see that we have a community like that, or maybe not even the community, but just people that are interested in seeing the trailer. I did remember, I did see like one commentary in Russian, because I mean, obviously, like I can speak Russian, because it's like it's a normal thing in Ukraine for some reason. I remember the guy saying that something along the lines of, "Oh, yet another Metroidvania, and you play as a girl? That sucks." I was like, "You fucking idiot!" Like, I don't care about you, man. Like, you can say whatever you want in your Russian. Like, I don't care. Like, there are like hundreds of people saying good things in English. I'm not gonna concentrate on your negative shit.
Yeah.
But it was funny because it was the only comment in Russian. I was like, man, like these people, why are they so depressed? Like, just go ahead, you know, like not go ahead, like ignore.
Yeah.
If you don't really like it. Like there is no reason to comment on a video on a freaking IGN in Russian. Nobody's gonna read that because it's an English-based channel anyway. Yeah. So I'm always like, again, fascinated by the community and people who are interested in what I'm working on because it's me working on something. But also, I don't know, it's crazy to see the reception of whatever we produce, really. Like all these DAUs, even though I'm not really participating in them because it just takes time, you know, like even reading through them is painful sometimes.
Yeah.
Like there's so much to go through. I think I've actually participating in like 3 of them out of freaking 100. What a developer I am. But I remember participating in the World Cup one specifically. I think the second one, because I was interested in how people perceive the mechanic and trying to I just wanted to explain to them that some things are not possible, that some things are pretty much possible. And we can actually do that, and you can be like, I mean, let me make you happy about that, you know.
Yeah.
Thing. Like, let me say that yes, it's possible. We can actually make that happen if we ever want to, because some things were like insane. Like, what if you cut the world like 5 times in a row? Like, dude, shut up. Like, what's the reason for that in the first? Yeah, right. Like, okay, I will cut the world 5 times in a row. But then, what's the result of that? Like, I just don't get the point here, you know, because it doesn't sound like a game mechanic to me. It sounds like a thing.
Yeah.
Like something, I don't know, like just something cool. That's all. Like, but you are not making games that utilize cool all the time. I mean, you obviously need to have cool in your game, uh, but the cool factor cannot be the main mechanic of the game.
Mm-hmm.
As in, like it has to have some kind of game design behind that.
Yeah. I think right now, as of recording and as of the releases of this episode, 1 year after the release or the announcement of Shape Protocol, we are standing at the precipice of something big in the gaming industry, I think. I might be biased just because I also love the game, but I'm really trying to take off the rose tinted glasses and I think every so often we see a game, an indie game no less, come out and that really rocks or shakes up the industry. Hollow Knight did it, right? I think I'm not going to compare it and say this is going to be better than Hollow Knight or whatever, but I feel like Shape Protocol is going to be one of those games. It's going to be one of those games that will shake up the gaming industry. So I'm excited.
Thank you. Hopefully it's going to be true. Because, man, like I would I would go nuts.
Yeah.
If it will become like a next Hollow Knight or something like that. Like the possibility of that happening is really small, of course, because like these games just come out like once per like a decade usually.
Yeah.
Like you have like what's that? Like the Binding of Isaac, for example.
Right.
Like,
oh my God.
Yeah, right.
Oof.
And then you have, again, as you said, like Hollow Knight. Yes, of course, you have Blasphemous, for example. Good game. Even though I've played the demo, just the demo, I've never like completed the game, but I feel like that's a good game. But it just doesn't has this like, it's not that popular, I guess, for some unknown reason. Probably because they wanted to make it hardcore. Or for example, like Hotline Miami. This game shaped a freaking generation, I'm pretty sure. And I've heard pretty recently that apparently Perturbator went to Calgary in 2015. He had a concert here, and in Dickie's pub, and that's insane because I went to this pub like a year ago.
Huh.
It's like an Irish kind of pub.
Cool.
And they have all kinds of bands over there all the time. But they had Perturbator one time, and one of the people from the association was there, and he talked to Perturbator, and he mentioned that Perturbator was so hammered that he just couldn't like come up with a sentence for an obvious reason. He had a concert, kind of a concert, just yet.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I don't know, like there are some games that just come out and they become like generational.
Yeah.
If Shape Protocol is this type of game, I will be incredibly happy. Like, man, like being a part of something like that is, I don't know, it's kind of life-changing in a sense. Because now you're tied to this game, basically.
Yeah. We'll see in about two or so years, and we'll come back to this episode, and then our future selves can tell us if we are right or not.
True.
All right. Well, I think it is time to get into the speed round where I'm going to ask you a bunch of silly random questions. We're going to see how you do. You ready?
Cool. Yeah, sure.
If you were the final boss in a video game, what would your title be?
Dr. Wag.
What would your boss theme music be? And you can choose any song from anywhere.
Children of Bottom, Needlet 24/7.
If you were a superhero, what would your name be and what powers would you have?
Who comes up with these questions?
Me.
I'll probably like a Koopa Troopa.
A Koopa Troopa.
Yeah, like a big Koopa Troopa. My superpower would be to, I guess, become invisible, just because it's cool.
Okay. What would your 14-year-old self think of who you are today?
Oh man, he would say I'm too woke. Not because I wasn't like necessarily woke when I was young, but as every teenager, I battled different thoughts. You know, like I'm pretty sure I was like misogynistic in a way, and didn't respect some people for unknown reasons. Like I wasn't like the perfect person, obviously, as not like everybody's like a normal person most of the time. Like there's no like perfect human.
Right.
But that being said, though, I think 14 years old me would be proud that I'm still working game dev because I actually didn't mention that, but when I was specifically 14, I had to go to the college because I didn't want to go to high school. That's how it works in Ukraine. Like you can either pick like a high school and university or college and university. And I picked college. And I wasn't sure if I want to pursue programming or something else. And at that time, I also dropped classical guitar, which I actually played for like 3 years at that time.
Wow.
I think I was like more or less good with that, but it just felt like it was overwhelming for me because I had to play classical guitar. I had to exercise like every day, of course. I also had to like program stuff because I
Right.
like programming. And I also wanted to pursue video editing because, as I mentioned before, I was really into like Lego films and editing stuff in general. So I was like, I had this kind of choice where I had to either pick like videography or programming or music, and I picked programming just because I felt like no, actually I was probably pushed by my parents. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they pushed me to do that because they
Wow.
felt like videography wouldn't be a nice choice because it probably doesn't pay well or it's really
Sure.
hard to find. While programming in 2014 was like the future.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not saying they were wrong or something like that. They
Mm-hmm.
were actually pretty right. But nowadays, being a software developer with all the AI thing and whatever, it's kind of like it's good to understand what's going on and how it works behind the scenes. But it's also, I sometimes feel like I'm just like another generator or a factory worker in a sense. Like I'm just doing tasks.
Right.
And that's okay. Like some programmers, they are in a worse position than me, honestly, because I'm working in a creative field while they are working in web dev, and web dev is not that creative at all. So you're just like a gear, in a huge machine, and I don't like that personally. Like I would rather pursue something personal, like a personal project or a smaller project where I have some kind of creative control behind that.
Right.
So yeah, with that being said, 13 years old me would be really happy with where I am, especially because I'm in Canada. And that's a huge achievement actually for a lot of people from Ukraine. I'm not saying that it's a huge achievement for everybody, like people are different.
Yeah.
But from the people that I talk to and from my friends, going abroad, like studying abroad, working abroad, learning the language, speaking the language well, like man, that's like respected because you're like you're not like necessarily bigger than your peers who are left quote unquote left behind. But you just bet on yourself kind of, like you gamble. And honestly, it's a huge gamble because when I moved here, I did move with my friends, with my girlfriend. But at the same time, man, I moved to a different fucking continent. Like that's a lot.
Scary, I'm sure.
It's really scary, yeah, with like limited funds as well.
Yeah.
Like nobody has paid for my like relocation here, except me.
Right.
So yeah, it's tough in that way, and I think like teenager me would be proud.
Well, it is now time to recommend 3 people that you'll share this episode with whenever it comes out that you think they'd be a good guest on the show, and if you can help me get them on the show.
I have a narrative designer / level designer. His name is, I hope I pronounce it correctly, Liuik, and he's from originally he's from Belgium.
Ah.
But he relocated to Canada really when he was like really young. So he doesn't have the accent, but he knows French, and he actually teaches French to people. So I would love him to be on the podcast because he's a really interesting person to me. The next person is gonna be, hopefully, I'll ask him because I'm not sure if he's able to do an interview, but I'm pretty sure he's like okay with the scheduling. His name is Keegan. He's pretty young. He's probably like 20, right now.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's really like smart for his age, and that's like a silly thing to say. People always say this shit, like you're so like smart for your age, blah blah blah. Like, yes, but also when I look at him, I see myself when I was like really young, and that's like a different kind of feeling because he's like he's not a 2D programmer, he's a 3D programmer actually. So he's doing whatever I cannot do, and he's like discovering all these cool like shader things and 3D things in general that I wouldn't be able to do because I'm not into 3D like that. And we're just sharing like different experiences whenever we see each other, and it's just so cool because he's also working in Godot, and he's like a student right now, so he's like juggling like being a student with games and making his own games. And we actually made a game together during the Global Game Jam in 2024. It was called Tickle Monster. So interesting to talk to. Like he has a lot of cool inspirations that I'm not aware of, you know. So and he's also younger than me. So whenever I talk to him, I get like a different kind of vibe. Like it's not like talking to people my age because people my age understand a lot of these references that I know, while he also has his own references. And yes, he also understands my references as well because he probably seen all these things while growing up, while I experienced them. Yeah, so that's the second person.
Cool.
And the third person is going to be Russell. He's my friend. He's also a game developer, but he's primarily like he's not a programmer. He's more of a like game director kind of thing.
Okay.
But he's also like mixing engineer, I think. As in, like he knows how to make like hip hop beats.
Oh,
he knows how to
sick.
make vocals and beats, stuff like that.
Awesome.
I think so. He's a sound engineer probably,
Right.
or mix engineer, master engineer, whatever. But he also has a lot of like, he's a gamer, or maybe like the gamer. And he's trying to make music for games, and he helped us on another game jam project and stuff like that. Like it was just such a cool project to make in 2 days, and he helped a lot. And he's like, he has a lot of ideas as well. So I would love to hear him on this podcast. You know, like he's a really cool guy.
Yeah.
And he helped me with my game too.
Yeah, that sounds cool, man. Yeah, I will love to talk to each and every one of these people. Of course, thank you so much for recommending them. I truly appreciate it. Do you have any final thoughts?
Man, I would say that it's gonna be a tangent. Like, okay, let's start with. It's surreal for me to even participate in an interview, just because there is an interviewer that I like constantly listen to. You might have heard of him, Chris Van Vliet. He's a wrestling interviewer. He's like really popular. And like whenever I listen to these interviews, since that's my second language, I try to understand how people talk and how they like, where they put the emphasis in the words and stuff like that. I try to analyze how they talk, you know. And it's really interesting to hear how freaking AJ Styles has a Southern accent, and I never have even like learned that he has one.
Right.
And like it again, like I'm not saying that I will instantly recognize everybody with a Southern accent. No, that's not true, 100%. Like I will probably fail. But whenever I hear him talking, some certain things just sound so odd to me. Like, people don't talk like that. But he pronounces words in such a way that makes me think, you know. And with all these different wrestlers in the interviews, I'm like, man, like I can learn so much of the language from there. And Chris Van Vliet is also Canadian, so he doesn't speak in like Canadian English apparently. He speaks in American English, which I learned pretty recently, because he moved to the America and he moved to the US, and he wanted to sound as an American, you know. Probably because it's like a normal thing to do in show business, I guess. From what I understand, whatever. So whenever I like listen to these interviews, I'm not saying that I imagine myself being there, but I kind of have this maybe not a parasocial relationship with these people,
Right.
but I just listen to them talking. I'm like, man, like I'm over there. Like I'm just listening to them. And being like a person who talks, who's being interviewed is so cool because I can share my experiences. Again, I can share with you that I watch all these interviews because I'm just interested in how people talk and how people live their lives and why they even picked pro wrestling in the first place. Because some people were like, let's say, like models, they were never meant to be a wrestler, but they went there because they were hired or they were approached with a contract, something like that. And some people like pursue wrestling their whole life and they never get hired in WWE because they are, let's say, like an indie wrestler kind of thing. Like they are too, like they love death matches. WWE doesn't do death matches.
Yeah.
You just cannot do that over there. If you want to do death matches, go to AEW, I would say.
Right.
Or GCW. But anyway, yeah, like it's just so interesting to me to listen to all these people and get their how, like, the way they look at life. Like I just love not debunking, like understanding how people perceive life. That makes sense.
It makes total sense, man. You can learn a lot. I mean, that's part of my job, right? Like I went to school for journalism. I graduated with a bachelor's. I work at NPR and PBS. So like there's a lot you can find out through just listening to an interview. This is a good way to get to know someone in a sense, like in a parasocial way, sure. But like our entire goal here on the Razzle Dazzle Show is to make these connections through the lens of video games and all things pop culture, So I hope that people listening to your episode right now can walk away with learning a bit more about you, and that gives them more context for Shape Protocol or any other projects you've been a part of. So, I'm glad that you had a good time. I really thank you so much for being on the show, Illia. Like this has been an amazing conversation. I absolutely loved every single bit of it.
Thank you, Jared.
All right, that's all the time we have for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode here on the Razzle Dazzle Show. Don't forget to follow Shade Protocol on Kickstarter, wishlisted on Steam, and tune in into Breaking Protocol, our mini-series where we break down key updates and development with game director Kendall and the rest of the team. Be sure to let us know what you think about this episode somewhere on the internet. Follow us on our socials and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be sure to rate us 5 stars and leave a comment down below. We'll catch you on the next one.